So I finished the book. So whilst I prepared the review video, I thought I would just make a simple video on the final chapter that looks at the future of sleep, plus additional research that I did myself, and ended up taking a little bit longer than I planned to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed the hard work that I put into it. It is uplifting, I like to think anyway, but anyhow, let's just get going with it. So I'm going to be using Matthew Walker's vision for sleep in the 21st century as a framework to build upon what generically the future of sleep does look like in terms of improving sleep quality and quantity. So to be able to achieve these improvements in sleep quality and quantity, there needs to be interventions at a number of levels. And so these different levels that we'll look at start with the individual level, and then they go from educational to organisational to public policies and government to societal changes. So firstly, let's look at what interventions we might see at an individual level. And so the first thing we're going to address is technology, which gets a bit of a bad press in terms of contributing to bad sleep in the first place, but we can also use technology to our advantage to improve our sleep. And so the negative sides, which I don't really want to focus on in this video, includes screen time and the blue light emitted from our screens that actually prevent sleep onset. But in this video we're going to look more at the positives that technology can provide for the future of sleep improvement. And this brings us to the idea of personalised sleep medicine, where you have commercially available, affordable, hopefully, devices that come in numerous forms. So in the future, I think it's likely that technology that can track a person's sleep and connect that to in-home network devices that could alter the lighting systems and also the temperature, which we know is linked to sleep. And overall, these smart homes I expect to become more prevalent in the future, especially with the increase in 5G technology as well, to help connect these devices together. So besides smart homes, you may have heard of smartphones, you may have heard of smart TVs, and you may have heard of smart watches, but now let's meet the smart mattresses. So smart mattresses aren't covered in the book, and this is the bit where I got a little bit distracted and found out about this company called Sleep Number that have these smart mattresses. And I got distracted very much so, ended up doing their quiz, and then they recommended some mattresses that I might like. And so what's interesting about these mattresses is, well, what makes them smart, because they claim to be able to improve your sleep. And so these smart mattresses have technology inbuilt with them that's connected to an app on your phone, and what you can do is you can adjust the curvature of the mattress. It records your sleep movement, your heart rate, your breathing rate, and all this data gets sent back to you and you can find out how well you're sleeping. But they're currently a little bit pricey, and to be honest, I don't really know much about this mattress besides that. They have a little video on their website which you can watch as well, I guess, if you were that interested. But I think I can definitely see these becoming more prevalent in the future. But the general point that I'm trying to make is that this personalised sleep medicine would be a way of tracking your sleep and being able to tailor the sleep environment that best suits yourself and your own circadian rhythm to help improve sleep quality and quantity, which is the overall aim in terms of improving health and lifestyle. And it can also be extended to cars in the future, like when you go to work in the morning, you could have bright blue lights in the morning when you need it to help wake you up, and then have that dim amber yellow light in the evening when you want to go to bed. And so there's many possibilities of the way that you can tailor these devices. I think it would, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I think it'd be very interesting. And talking about the light systems, one fun example is NASA. Well, maybe more interesting than fun, but did you know astronauts on the International Space Station orbit the Earth so fast that they get the brilliant delight of having 16 sunrises and sunsets within the space of one day? So NASA decided it'd be best to develop a light system so that they didn't have to endure this and so that they could sleep correctly. And the cost of developing one of these light bulbs was $300,000, around that. So yeah, hopefully the costs will go down a little bit in the future. But along with these technological advances, there also needs to be more education in terms of understanding sleep. And so that could come from books, engaging lectures, excellent YouTube videos like this one. But the problem is it's hard to keep habits even when you know what's good and what's bad. But this is also again where technology could come to save us, because one thing that we know is that seeing is often believing sometimes. And what I mean by this is that if you have personalised sleep tracking data, you could use that information and make predictions about how you're doing and have that feedback, because you know how people like to have so many walks they do each day. You could also get that from your sleep patterns and know, you know, what are your chances of getting the flu this year. I don't know what the future is in terms of what advances we'll have, but it just goes to show that if you had that kind of data, you're more likely to act upon it because you want to see good data, not bad data. So continuing with education, Matthew Walker outlined in his book the importance of having more school education in terms of better sleep awareness and also better sleep practice, because this will help them live longer and healthier, but also be able to pass on that knowledge to future generations as well, because the money that we can invest now in teaching will definitely be recovered in terms of saving money from the accidents and diseases and productivity the loss of productivity that comes with poor sleep. And if they want that to be educational and entertaining, I've got a solid idea for a new TV show for Netflix called Sleep Education, where there's a sleep clinic. I'm joking, which obviously I could star in. But besides from the point, I think it is really important to have more education. And so now let's look at the organisational interventions that could be made in the future. So Matt outlines 3 examples in his book. The first one is a sleep credit score that would very much depend on breaking the myth that sleeping less is more productive, where in fact there is so much evidence that having a better sleep improves productivity. And so the idea is that companies could reward people based on their sleep amounts and continuity over successive nights, and that could be in terms of financial rewards or increased vacation days. The second idea would be to break the norm of the working 9 to 5 and to instead have flexible work hours that suit the workers, so they could start early if they wanted to or finish later, whatever works best. And then the last thing that he explains is about medicine and how at the moment the wards where you have like intensive care units, they have a lot of noise, a lot of bright lights, and how that actually inhibits recovery and recuperations from multiple diseases. And so if you can improve the sleep environment in hospitals, you can also decrease the time that patients are spent in that hospital and reduce the costs globally. And I think that's definitely an area that needs to be addressed at some point, hopefully soon. And then lastly, looking at the public policy and societal changes that should be intervened mainly come at the point of acknowledging the fact that drowsy driving is responsible for more accidents than either drugs or alcohol, and that it's so important to raise awareness and to have more campaigns to show the importance of having a good night's sleep. And maybe he kind of jokes, I don't know if he is joking, in the future there could be a breathalyzer for sleep deprivation, so you've been warned. Anyway, hopefully this video was somewhat interesting and entertaining about the possibilities of the future of sleep. And so yeah, this came mainly from the last chapter of this book, which I will try and review at some point. But as always, thanks for listening.